My name is Dre'mon Miller. I am the owner and founder of Smartz Over Safety, LLC. I also am the Department Chair for Criminal Justice at Reynolds Community College. I am a native of Richmond City. I went to Richmond Public Schools where I graduated in 2010, and then I matriculated on to VCU where I studied criminal justice and minored in Homeland Security. I've always had a passion to give back to other people and to help people and help the community. And then I found a liking to criminal justice and the principles of it, and seeing some of the injustices that happen within the system, and then trying to do my part with working on the inside out of fixing some of those. So I have served as a police officer, I have served as a correctional officer at Bonaire Correctional Facility, and then I went on to now work in education, where I worked for 7 years with Richmond Public Schools as a criminal justice instructor, and then I matriculated on to Reynolds, where I can still make an impact with local police departments, but also educating the next group of individuals who will be going in the field or working in the field in some kind of aspect. I started Smartz Over Safety in 2021. The name of Smartz Over Safety, Smartz, comes from a saying that me and my siblings used to have. I'm 1 of 5. And we used to always say that street smarts take us in different rooms that book smarts couldn't take us in. Because of our background and how we were raised and some of the things that we had to experience at younger ages, it gave us a cognizant understanding of how to go in different rooms or how to be in different situations and manage those, how to manage rooms and take control of them without being overwhelmed, because we've already dealt with some of the stressors of life at a younger age, and it prepared us for the future. And then safety comes from some of the activities that we do with the community, to include CPR training, revive training, mental health awareness, and also gun prevention. So we put them both, I put them both together. So then you have street smarts, but then you have safety. Everybody should be safe, but sometimes you need to recognize things that are happening before you get there or while you're there, so that way you can know how to function, you can know how to move. When I got to VCU, it was kind of scary for me at first. I was the first of my siblings to go to college. Of course, I was from Richmond, Southside Richmond, so I stayed close to home. It's not too far, but I still was far enough where I didn't have to see my family, so that was good, something to remember. VCU actually set me up for different experiences that still help me today. My professors did a really good job with giving me chances where I had to stand up and speak in front of people, teaching me and preparing me to be in rooms where I felt like I didn't belong, and still finding a place in that room, and being able to use the skills and the positives that I had to open up a lane for me in any room that I walk in. When I was at VCU, I also served, I was working 12 and 16 hours at Bonaire Correctional Facility and then going to class. So they worked with me around that because they recognized the work that I was already doing in the field. And those things helped me to prepare me how to deal with people when they have something going on, and as they are my employees or as I'm working alongside them, giving people grace. So when I went to VCU, one thing about, I believe it was my last year at VCU, I had a capstone class, and in that class, one thing my instructor focused on was giving back to the community. So I remember I volunteered at Mary Frances Youth Center one day for a tennis middle school club, which when I first got there was very overwhelming because it was like 500 middle school kids. But just the experience of working with them and seeing how at first they didn't know really what they were getting into, but they were still so excited, and just recognizing the innocence and being open to learn something new. That for me it helped me remember as I was younger that I was always willing to try anything to make sure that I was in a different space than where I felt like I grew up at, and some of the spaces I was when I was that age. And that kind of sparked something in my head. It was like, so I wonder what I could give back to the community. So Smartz Girls program came out of last summer. We actually were partnering with Reynolds Cobbs, and she knew a need there was out of Randolph Community Center. And she knew someone who worked over there, and he spoke to her and was like, we need something for our younger girls. What is something that we can offer? So last summer we offered a couple days over at Reynolds Community Center, giving them some certain skills, talking about hygiene, talking about self-appearance and self-esteem, also teaching the young ladies about how do you treat other people, and when you have conflict, how do you work through conflict instead of picking or hitting or just being negative with each other, but how can you work through this thing where we both can figure out where we feel like we lost, but also where we gained, and then meet in the middle. And then this school year, we applied for a grant with Mary Frances Youth Center and received it. So we have been offering Saturday programs, one Saturday a month, where young ladies come to Mary Frances Youth Center, or we take them out on a trip and they learn different skills to help them be better as young women as they grow older. So the impact for Street Smartz girls, for me, the whole idea was giving these young ladies a safe space. Some of the young ladies that are in the program are not in your typical, they've just been cast out, kind of, sort of, whether it's by life or whether it is by peers, but they have been. So we wanted to give them a safe space where they can all come, feel like a sisterhood, be able to open up, be able to be comfortable, be able to be vulnerable, but at the same time learn and enjoy and feel like they're valued 100%. So we ask them things that they like to do. They have had opportunities where they have been able to do things that they never got a chance, and it's simple things like cooking together, being able to cook on their own, or being able to, care about their own bodies, where they're making their own body butters and they're making their own soaps, and they're able to make something and feel like, yes, I did this, and then I can go and give it back to my parents. Those kind of opportunities is what the goal was for me, just for them to feel valued and feel okay. And I think so far we're doing that. I think programs like these are essential for Richmond because Richmond, we have a vast population of young people, adults too, because we're not only one who serve younger people, we believe in serving the whole family. Because if you heal the child but you don't heal the adult, then you're kind of sending the child back into a place where each week you're gonna be restarting over to teach them, because you need to be able to heal the people who's working with them, who lives with them, who they're always with as well, so that way the whole family can grow, so that way as that child is growing, it doesn't seem like contention between the parents. So just want to get that out there. But then after that, I believe that Richmond needs these programs because we have some of the brightest, we have some of the smartest, we have some of the most intelligent young people in our city. But unless they get opportunities to push them outside of what their norm is, they may not ever experience or even push themselves to go to their farthest potential of where they could be. Everywhere you go, you see VCU. So if VCU wasn't a part of community engagement or community partnerships, it will be a disservice to everybody, because VCU is a connection piece to a lot of things. So I see VCU as the person who, you have community partners on the ground, and they're like the workers, the fighters. At VCU is like the backing of the education when it comes to community partners, because it's such a huge institution. There's so many connections to different parts of all of the things that we struggle with in Richmond. VCU should and is the place, organization, who impacts all of these lives. I think VCU's on the backs of the civilians in Richmond. You have to be. Challenges the young people face today, I know you hear this over and over again, but it's so true that social media amplifies everything that they face today. So peer pressure, wanting to fit in, afraid of standing alone because loneliness is scary. Even as an adult, loneliness is scary. You recognize when you grow to the next level, there's people who fall off, or there's people who stay. The same way it is where, with me, like I feel that on a daily when making decisions. And young people, that's totally amplified for them, because they haven't had the experiences where they're able to mitigate those things, or even the mental processing to be able to work through those. So programs like mine and all of the other ones who are in the community doing the great work, that's why we all first focus on making the young person whole first, making them being comfortable with themselves to be able to stand alone. And then teaching them the other things of how to work with others. Like, let me build you up as a person first and then put you out so where you can go out and work with other people, or try to bring people into what your beliefs are and how you function and how does that play into your goals and how can you give back. But first, if we don't take care of you, you're not going to be able to do anything else. And I think that is a big focus on all youth development right now and all of the great programs, and there's so many in the city of Richmond that's doing the work. And yeah, I think that's it. Like, you have to build that child up. You have to be able to stand alone, especially now. The younger generation can be mean. Just to put it frank, they can be very, very mean. We had some rough, dealings with growing up when I was younger, but now it has increased because social media, everything is put on there, and then you feel like that's your image. But on social media, honestly, everybody can be whoever they want to be, no matter if it's true or not. My long-term goal for them is to have a continued space where they can come and show up. Long-term, I would like to partner with some other organizations because I don't know everything, right? So I believe in bringing other people in and helping to support it and build it up from where it is now. At Street Smartz Over Safety, some ideas that I have for them or for the business as a whole, I would love to see that all of the individuals who come through us, this is the first year we have young people who are graduating high school. So now the idea of the future looks like, what are we doing for the alumni when they finish and they move on to whether that's college or career or trade. Right now we have 2 young men who is actually going to college, and so we are really heavy on them into getting them used to having interviews, having to speak. How do you stand up? How do you show up in a place? What are you gonna do when you show up and they don't want you there, but you know you belong there? Or even if you don't, you're here now, so how are you gonna work through that? What is your next steps? But that also comes with the price of having to talk to the parents too and say, hey, you gotta kind of like cut the cord and let them grow, let them go out and try some things. Because if you don't, you're gonna have a stagnant person that you're taking care of. So those are the next steps. The next steps is keep our afternoon enrichment programs. Right now we're in 11 different middle schools. So keep that going, keep building that up, but also on the outside of that with our mentoring programs, making sure that we can show success by the young people growing and being the best that they can be, and letting them know that if they do make a mistake, we still will be there to support them after the mistake, but we will hold them accountable. And we hold the parents accountable too. I think Richmond and VCU can continue to help support. I say when we have events, feel free to come out. It's always open to the community. Come out and help celebrate the young people. The young people like to show off the things that they've learned. They like to be seen. They like to be congratulated. I would also say continue doing what you're doing now, right? Continue offering us opportunities to partner with you or collaborate, or giving us community service events so we can bring the young man and give back. They love to give back and to help somebody else feel good about themselves. So, and the young ladies as well. So give us those opportunities and we'll be here to work with you. And if we can make it work, we'll do our best. You can find us on Instagram at Street Smartz Over Safety. You can find us on Facebook at Street Smartz Over Safety on both of those platforms. And that's what we are.